Okay, today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be learning about circles. This is section 10.3, but I'm just going to label it circles. Watch me do that right now. Oh, here we go. Circles. There it is. It says it right there. And what you need to know, and what you'll be given on a formula sheet, is that the standard form for the equation of a circle, and I'm going to write that down also, standard form, which I used to abbreviate STD, but I don't do it anymore because kids typically laugh about that. Standard form of the equation of the circle. And it's given by this. Now, I have to tell you the center of your circle, and circles have centers, and they have radiuses as well, or radii, I should say. The center is at 0, 0. It's at the origin, and it's given by x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared, and r stands for the radius of your circle. Oh boy. So let's look at one of these right now. I want to graph the equation of a circle. And I have already got some nice graph paper up here. And so we're going to be looking at, for example, x squared plus y squared is equal to, we're going to say 4 right now. Now let me put a pair of axes up here. We're going to put an x-axis and a y-axis just like this. Watch me do this now. Here's the y-axis. There it is. Oh, here comes the x-axis. There it is right there. Now again, this is the equation of a circle. I know that because it's x squared plus y squared. And remember, it's equal to your radius squared. So the radius squared is equal to this number right here, and that number is 4. That tells me that my radius is equal to the square root of 4. And so the radius is 2 units long. So I'm going to put my center of the circle right there at 0, 0. The radius is 2 units, so that comes out to here. And we make a circle. It's going to come up there. That would be a radius of 2 units. Here would be a radius of 2 units. And down here. And so your circle is looking just like this. Now, I'm not a very good circle maker. I didn't do that well in circle making class in college. But that is about as good as I'm going to be able to do. Now, sometimes they're going to try and trick you, but I know we're not going to be tricked. Sometimes they'll sit there and say, okay, well, graph this guy. They're going to graph y squared equals, and then they're going to say 25 squared minus x squared. And that doesn't look like the standard form for the equation of a circle, which says x squared plus y squared. And so what we need to do is we need to move things. I need this x squared over here. So I'm going to add x squared to each side. And you'll have then x squared plus y squared is equal to 25. That 25 should not be squared. That was a mistake on my part. Let me erase that right now. This is good for us. We know that the center here, again, since it's x squared plus y squared, is 0, 0, and the radius is the square root of this number, because don't forget that this is radius squared. And so the radius is the square root of 25, and so the radius is 5. Now I'm going to put some axes on my paper. Here we go. There we are. And I'm going to put a center at the origin. If I can get my pen, there it is right there. Here's the origin, there's my center. And then the radius is 5 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to make a nice circle here as best I can. That's not half bad. This is kind of ugly right there, but that's okay. We're going to live. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. So that's, again, if it's y squared equals 25 minus x squared. This is the standard form. You need to write it as such. Make sure the x squareds and the y squareds are all nice and together. The other type of thing that we're going to have to do, and let me clear this right now. There it is right there, is you'll be giving a problem that says something like this. The point 1, 4 is on a circle whose center is the origin. And what they want us to do is they want us to find the equation of the circle. Okay, right The standard form of the equation of the circle. It's not asking me to graph, so I don't technically need these two axes. I'm going to go ahead and take those away. There they go. And now we need to know, okay, well, where do we begin? And you always begin with this part, standard form of the equation of the circle. Okay, we know that is x squared plus y squared equals r squared. And I know that from the formula that you're given. Okay, also it says the center is the origin. Okay, that's big right here. Now, we need to know r squared. You're going to leave x squared and y squared, and you need to fill in the number for r for your final answer here. But we don't have any information about r. But we do know this point right here, 1 comma 4, it lies on the circle. And I know then that x is 1, so you're going to take this 1 and substitute it for x. So 1 squared plus y is 4. And so we're going to substitute 4 squared, and that is going to be equal the radius squared. 1 squared is 1, plus 4 squared is 16. That's equal to r squared. And so 1 plus 16, 17 is r squared. That means the radius is the square root of 17 units long, but we're not really interested in that. We need an r squared because I have to replace this r squared with a number. And it says r squared is 17. So you're going to replace that, and your equation is x squared plus y squared is equal to 17. The last thing you're going to have to be able to do is, given an equation, you have to find the radius. Okay, so it'll say find the radius. And it might give you something like this. 9x squared plus 9y squared is equal to 135. And remember that we can't do anything with 9 times x squared and 9 times y squared. Our standard form says x squared plus y squared equals 135. So what I need to do is I need to divide each side of this equation by the coefficient of the x squared and the y squared. So we'll divide this side by 9, that side by 9. 9 over 9 and 9 over 9. All we're going to be left with here is the x squared plus y squared. That's a good thing. I don't know if 135 is divisible by 9. We can check. 135 divided by 9, and that is equal to 15. And so what that means, again, is, and I shouldn't have had 135 there. That should be r squared. That means r squared is equal to 15. So if r squared is 15, then the radius, by taking the square root of each side, is the square root of 15 units long. And as a decimal, the square root of 15 is 3.87. And that's all you have to be able to do today.